I'd like to call to order the Whitewater Township Board of Trustees meeting for May 15th, 2023. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Pope,
Here.
Mr. Shively,
Here.
and Mr. King.
Here.
Acceptance of the minutes for the April 17th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion, we accept them with a correction of, it was the March 20th minutes that that was in the last meeting. On the, the ones I made the motion for last meeting was March 20th
Okay.
minutes.
And I'll second it as,
Corrected.
yeah, corrected.
Yeah.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
Everybody have a chance to look over the invoices?
I did, and
I
also
did.
move.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
Moving on to the sheriff's report. Sheriff is not here.
Yeah, he was not able to make it.
Somebody want to read it? You want me to read it?
Yeah, if you got it.
Okay. For April 2023, thefts were 3, identity fraud 2, passing bad check 1, criminal damaging 3, criminal trespassing 1, felonious assault 1, domestic violence 2, protection order violation 1, interference with custody 1, child endangering 1, drug possession 1, obstruction of official business 1, aided case 9, and other non-criminal 4. Total reports were 31, 22 closed, 9 active. There was 28 taken in March, it's up just a hair. Auto accidents 25, there was 24 in March. Calls for service were 382, which is down from 399 in March.
All right. Yeah. I don't have any questions.
I don't either.
I don't
It's
know
a
if I
good
can
thing
answer.
because there's nobody here to give us the answers.
They were pretty busy. I saw 3 cars down on 128
Oh, really?
on my way home.
Really?
Pruitt House,
Which one?
down to Pruitt.
Oh, really? Good.
So maybe that's where they're all at. I don't know.
And I don't know if it falls in here, but I've noticed they started construction on the dispensary there on Suspension Bridge.
Oh,
Oh, I thought they were going into one building, they're building?
The plumber's in there working in the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the plumber was in there doing
I
the,
thought he was out. They're back in?
They were never out, so.
and I
just
assumed
got
that's what
started.
was starting. I know that they're working in there now. Plumber going in, so something's happening.
Something's going happening. Public presentations, we don't have any tonight? Oh, man. Got the dog that's coming up, right? It's a, what's? It's a sign for the. Oh, I don't have a problem with
yeah,
that.
I don't think that's.
Is that okay with you, Josh?
No
Everyone's
particular
got
place
a-
it needs to be, is
cut
there?
around it or anything. As long as it's all right with him, whoever's cutting, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving right on to township reports. Fire department, chief. Evening.
Good evening, Chief.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one, but I'll take one. Take another one.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening.
So our run totals for the month of April 2023, we had 104 EMS details with 114 patients, and 64 of those were transported, 29 fire details for a total of 133 details for the month of April. I'll skip through the middle part unless you have any questions through there. Our staffing for the month of April, there were no station closures and 100% of our shifts were covered with township paramedics. And as always, we still are utilizing WestJAD to supplement our paramedic coverage. So last month, we conducted 2 pre-employment tests for part-time applicants. One applicant has been hired and is currently working training shifts, and I've got an interview scheduled for later on next week for a second one. We are currently advertising for part-time employment. Once the full-time contract has been approved, we'll move on with replacing our full-time vacancies that we have. Speaking of full-time vacancies, just last Thursday, I received another notice from a full-time firefighter paramedic that he is resigning. He has accepted a position with Green Township Fire Department. So his last day will be sometime during the month of June, the middle of June. And also moving on, one of our part-time firefighter EMTs, Ben Calabrese, has been hired by the city of Cincinnati. So his last day is coming up here at the end of May. So we'd like to wish Ben good luck with the city of Cincinnati. Unfortunately, at this time, Cincinnati does not allow their recruits to work elsewhere. So he is resigning at this time, but he does have an open application to come on back when things change, once he goes through his recruit school, if he has time and he's permitted to come back. So he is, he will be welcome back if he does have the time. So spring hydrant checks, the crews continue to check and flush the hydrants. So if you see them out working on the roadway, please slow down and give them some room. And as always, if your water is discolored, if they're working in your area, you may experience some discolored water. Just let it run for a little bit and it'll clear up. So I sent over a proposal for some portable radio equipment. We currently have a grant application in with FEMA to replace our radio equipment, and we are starting to see some of our portables deteriorate. We've got some broken knobs, missing knobs, screens are getting scratched up, hard to read, and those portables are approaching their end of life, and it's really not worth it to send them in for repair because they may not be able to be repaired. We are operating with a limited number of portables. And 2025 is going to be the end of service for all that radio equipment. So I did send over a quote for some radio equipment for 8 portable radios at the amount of $42,270 and some change. And there was 1 or 2 year financing options available as well. So hopefully you've had time to review that and look it over. But I would like to ask the board to move forward with purchasing 8 portable radios at this time. My plan is, if we do not get the grant, to basically try to do chunks of radios over the next couple years to get all of our radios replaced. The grant is for 12 mobile radios and 27 portable radios. So we can reduce those number of portables that we purchase with the grant dollars. And it's also for 27 sets of headsets for all the vehicles. And the grant total application is $259,000. So that's what we're keeping our fingers crossed, and that's what we've been applying for the last several years. But I don't want to wait till the very last minute. We're kind of almost there, so I'd like to start replacing some of these portables in chunks.
I got a question.
Yes.
Not if you were done with that so far. So, and this might be a stupid question, and I think I know the answer, but so at the end of the 5 years, it's, it's saying it's like a 5-year lease, but at the end of 5 years, we keep them, right?
Correct.
It's
Yes.
just a 5-year
Yep.
lease.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 8 radios now, what we do is when crews come in for the day, they're assigned a radio basically. So we would have 4 at each station. That would allow everyone on shift to have a new radio, and the better ones of our older ones would be left there as well as spares. So that would give us enough radios, enough brand new good radios to operate with our crews for right now. So that's why I'm only asking for
Are these
8.
the new radios that we've been trying to get for the last couple of years, or?
On the grant, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, this is a chunk of them,
So
yes.
you're talking about the Motorola's that I actually carry? The newest
Correct, yeah,
model.
they're the Motorola 800 megahertz radios.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the ones you have now are just old?
They were the first batch that was bought back in the early 2000s when the county got the big
So you did
grant.
not update, we don't have any updated radios then?
No.
Like, you know what I carry, right? I
You
carry
probably have one of the
those
public safety
Where I
radios.
can get everybody and everybody.
Yeah, we have those. We have that capability.
Okay, so you
It's
do-
just that radio is reaching its end of
Yeah,
life.
I know what
Yeah,
you're talking about. So yes,
Yeah.
you do have a need for that because they are expiring, right?
Correct.
They
And
just came in and updated all of our new stuff. Yeah, so I know what he's saying.
Yeah, the radios have
You're
been-
still out of date on radios.
yeah, the radios have been updated and they do work with the county network and everything. It's just the actual hardware of the actual radio
Yeah.
is just end of life. And plus the newer ones, they have the Bluetooth capability with our SCBA's and some other link layering technology built into them to communicate with out-of-state agencies and stuff like that. So there is new technology to these radios.
Mic and Bluetooth right to the radio.
Correct.
Correct. That's what we carry.
Do you know what the interest rate is on that, on these?
I do not, but I
mean, I
did
added
notice it
them up.
was, I didn't see what it was. And I went to figure it out and I forgot.
I think it's close to 5% a year,
Yeah,
which is about what we're making.
Yeah, I was
money right
looking
now.
at that. It's 52,540 we'd end up paying if we did a 5-year lease. My opinion, I'd rather buy than to have the lease payment
Well,
if we're
what
not
we-
gaining
What we
any.
had started out with was Scott thought that they were offering a 2-year same as cash, which they aren't
Which
apparently.
they aren't,
So-
yeah.
So we, if they were, I was gonna recommend that, but, just
Yeah, but it-
because of the increase in what we're paying in salaries and, having to buy, this is a minimum number. Am I correct on that, Chief?
No, the 8 is just what we're going to do for right now. Yeah.
So, at some point in time, we're gonna start whittling away soon at that carryover in the fire fund.
Mhm.
So I just thought we needed to look at options, so.
I just don't like having too many payments looming out in front of us. I'd rather have things paid off and,
I mean, is there other options to doing it than financing it through them?
Probably, but you're not gonna get that good of an interest rate.
Not that's as good as it's gonna get.
If we go to the bank, if you put it on a credit card,
What are you thinking about
Carry.
with the options you're saying?
the other options would be to go to our bank, US Bank, and say, what would you give it to us for? The Vista Bank is competitive sometimes.
Do you think they would get that low?
I don't think they could get that low. I can check.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Is it all right if he checks on that, just to double
Yeah,
check?
no,
before
that's
we do
fine.
it?
Yeah, that's fine.
What
There,
would you know about that grant?
probably not until August, September.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What's the lead time on these again, Chief?
I believe it's 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so if you bought them now, you wouldn't have them before the grant got approved, if it got approved.
And again, as always, we were notified last week too that there is a price increase at the beginning of June. So probably somewhere around 10% or so.
every salesman says that.
Yeah, they do, and that's why I'm hesitant to pass it on, but I'm not using it as a tactic or anything. I'm just giving you guys all the information.
I'd like to just at least check and see. It's not that
Yeah,
I don't want
and-
to get them. I think we need them, but I'd like, if for some reason we could get them.
My personal opinion, I guess this would have to be, we could take care of it now. My personal opinion is that we're all in agreement we need them. We go ahead and approve getting them, and we decide what way we're going to pay for it later when that time comes, and we try to, but for now, I'd treat this like we treated the ambulance, sooner is better because, we're,
I don't have an issue making a motion that we need them. I mean, I know the importance of them. You know, the last thing I want to have is somebody out there and our
Right.
equipment fails.
Correct.
You know,
Right.
I don't.
That's the way I feel. I think
I
we
don't
should
have
get
an
them
issue making a
ordered.
motion.
I'll second that motion. If we could do
contingent
that
upon
now,
we
Jim.
Find the best deal, or what, Jim, find out what's going to work best between you and Chief and financially for
Right. What way we
the
pay,
township.
right, which way we pay the least.
Yeah, obviously, buying them outright is going to be the cheapest. I just wanted you to have some options because
Yeah.
See what you know.
as we start whittling that away.
Numbers in city.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we got 3 to 6 months to figure that out. So
Just gotta put the deposit down.
I don't think you even have to.
I'll double check with the salesman tomorrow on the lead time, but when we talked earlier in the year, it was 3 to 6 months.
mean,
I
you're
wouldn't imagine that
halfway
getting any
through
shorter.
23 and you're-
Well, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can give them a PO now.
Okay.
Usually with Motorola, that's all they require to hold it. If they want a down payment, we can do that too.
Yeah, and that's the other bad part about this, and I'm sure Doug's aware, is Mobilecom has the corner in this area, so
Right.
that's why there are no other prices to compare it to.
you have
You know,
to go with them.
yeah, they're
That is
the,
correct.
if you're going with the Motorola radio. And over the years, Mike had looked at Kenwood radios and some other radios.
Motorola, everybody goes with it.
And when it comes to public safety and being in the field,
Yep.
it's Motorola is the most rugged radio out
Without a
there.
doubt.
And as I like to, and I mentioned it to the chief, in a money-saving move, the township a long time ago bought sonar pagers. You know, nothing wrong with the brand name sonar, but their pager didn't work, period. So,
Really?
yeah, it took an individual fireman to go buy a Motorola and set them side by side for the trustees to see that they wasted the money on the sonars and they started buying Motorola's.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we have a.
We have a motion
and
on the floor.
Did you second it?
Yeah.
I seconded it, yeah.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
Thank you. And then just the final thing is just the reminder about the open burning, because I know the weather's, springtime, everybody's still cleaning up. Just open burning is still banned by the Ohio Revised Code section during the day between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. in the month of May. And just the stuff that you can and can't burn, I've got listed through there too. So that's all I've got, unless you have any other questions.
I don't have anything else. Anybody got anything else?
No, I do not.
I have a question. Did Ed Evers contact you yet?
No.
Okay, he asked me for your contact. I'll check with him, and
Okay, and that's regarding,
he is the engineer on
oh,
the
okay,
floor.
okay. No, haven't heard from him yet.
Okay, yeah.
And
All right.
I do have a contractor that's going to come down and look at that also to see if there's anything he can do with it.
Okay,
Because we've got some other work that needs to be done to Miami Town.
all right. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you,
You're
Chief.
welcome.
Moving on to the maintenance department. Josh?
Good evening.
Good evening, Josh.
As everyone knows, our annual spring cleanup took place on April the 29th and was once again a success. I would like to thank Keep Cincinnati Beautiful for the tire dumpsters, along with E-Town Recycling for the donated scrap container, and Cincy Disposal for the quick turnaround on the removal of all the containers, which they removed the same day. We filled 2 tire containers, 1 scrap container, 5 general trash containers, and 1 yard waste container. Miami Town also filled 2 general trash containers, bringing it to a total of 7 general trash containers full. I'd like to thank everyone who was able to help out this year, and the total cost of this event was $5,700. Peggy and I are continuing to work on the CDBG Community Development Block Grant for the 3rd round of funding due this year. We're in the process of getting our bid packet together to go out for bid. This round will be used to repave the senior center parking lot. Once we have more information on this, we'll be sure to pass it on to the board. But we're getting pretty close with the bid packet. That's all I have for you.
Anybody else got anything for Josh?
No,
I do not. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks.
Josh.
Good. community center. Want me to read it? Attendance for the community center from 4:10 to 5:10 of 2023. Euchre during the weekdays was 102. Euchre's on Friday night was 144. Chair volleyball 28. Bluegrass was 160. Country music was 42, for a total of 476. Rentals for May, 0 for the shelter, 1 for the center. For June, there's 4 for the shelter and 1 for the center. Just a reminder for programs available at the senior center, chair volleyball, euchre, bluegrass, country music. If you need any information, call 513-367-6046. And we're always looking for new ideas for programs for the center. If you have any thoughts, please contact Carolyn at 513-367-6046. Anybody got anything else on the community center?
I do not.
Okay, moving on to the committee reports. Regional Water and Sewer.
The sewer district meeting was moved from next Tuesday to tomorrow night here at the community center. We finished up the 3 open house public hearing type meetings for anybody who had questions about the easements on State Route 128. We did have a request from a property owner to move the lift station on the south end to the other side of their property. We're going to see if we can accommodate that. A little late in the process to do that, but we're doing what we can. Doug will tell you, anytime you make a change, MSD makes it difficult, but yeah. So we're attempting to accommodate their request. Other than that, the biggest concern anybody had was whether we would, how close we would be to their home and how big of a pit they were going to dig, and it's just for a lateral crossing to serve their property. So everything's looking good and going well with that right now.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
I noticed that, I believe last month and this month, we had to move the date around a little bit to accommodate schedules of the board members. Do we have any thoughts on what we can do to alleviate the issue we have with people not applying or running for board members of the sewer and water? Or is that something we could address as a board here, or what's our options?
Well, we got a small write-up in the Harrison, not the press, the Record, just mentioning that we had openings. We've got it on our website. I know everybody that is involved has asked anybody that they thought might be interested. We're just having difficulties finding anybody who's interested in serving right now. I know that you talked with Brian Pacheco about the possibility of the township taking over the sewer board if we can't find people, which if you want to just go over what he told you.
He told me that we would need the consensus of the sewer board to approve it, and our board here to approve it, and then it's a simple court hearing to do the changeover.
You know, I like that idea, Trustee Pope, I do. I mean, because something needs to be done. We either go that route, Jim, or we go back the route. I would go back to the board if it was possible. If we can't serve the 3 trustees on that board, we might have to take it over.
Yeah, my thoughts on it would be, if we could take it over as the board, because we're already financing and having a lot of involvement with
Correct.
it. But I would like to keep on as a subcommittee the people who are in there now to continue to advise and to work with us and help us, and have a subcommittee to help us out. But that way we could have the, simpler meetings and
You
not
know-
worry about a quorum.
And again, I totally agree with what you're saying, because right behind it, not to jump ahead of you, Mr. President, but we're economic development. That goes hand in hand of how this township's going to move forward with the sewer and economic development. And if we don't have folks to sit on that water sewer board, and I have said this from the very beginning, you're dealing with so much money in that water and sewer. You're talking about the development of Whitewater Township. And it's very important. So I agree. I think we either find a way, this board takes it over, or this board can help that board stay afloat somehow, which I had to step down. Jim may not be far behind me of doing that. We're going to have nobody. So we need to be proactive. I agree. We need to get on this.
Yeah, my opinion, the reason I brought this up is I think we should address the sewer board with our proposal to do this. I would like to address them with that.
My question is, if we took it over, do you have the meeting for that? Can you have the meeting for that on the same night? Or do you have to have it on a separate night?
If you took it over, it would just become part of this.
Part
Would
of
just be
this,
part of this meeting?
part of your
I
agenda.
mean, you could hold separate meetings if you chose,
Yeah,
like
but
with
I mean-
anything else.
The
but-
subcommittee could still,
You would have your engineer here.
Yeah.
Would give a report just like Chief
Just like this,
does.
yeah.
And, you know, it takes on a lot more, but I know it's going to be a lot for this board, and it would become a lot. You
I mean,
guys, you know what I mean? But at the same time, as far as the Whitewater Township is concerned, we're not going to be here forever. If we don't do something, we
They're
can't
not
affo-
gonna
we
be
can't
here
afford-
forever
we-
either.
We can't afford that to
Yeah.
fall apart
Right.
for the sake of Whitewater Township.
I mean, I feel bad for the people that have been dead. I'm not trying to pull the rug out of the people that have worked at it so hard, but if we
Right.
can't get nobody else to get in there,
But if you go under that quorum, you're done, you're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we're gonna be in panic mode. I think we ought to at least look at it, Jim. I don't know,
Well, the reason this month's meeting was moved is because Don Smith had planned a trip last fall when we still had 4 board members, and he was assuming that, you know,
yeah.
4 or 5 months in advance that we could schedule it with 3 people. Well, we didn't have 3 people because Tim resigned. So the month before, we moved it because I was at the auditors conference. So it's beginning to, you know, I don't think it's fair to the people who want to come to that meeting either to keep moving it around.
Yeah, for sure.
we've been
So-
looking for a year to find somebody to take over
been
for
that or
trustee.
more.
you know,
King.
and I like the idea, I do, only because I sat on that board for so long. But when we were there, we had interest, and as it's falling apart, I don't want this to be 10 or 15 years down the road when we're no longer up here and everything's just shot. You know, I think that's why we sit here. If we see an issue, we need to address it. You know,
Yeah.
we need to look at the future, what's going to happen here, and that's what it's
Right.
looking like, Jim. I mean, we're not getting any younger sitting
Yeah.
up here, you know, and that's never going to change. Whitewater's
Right.
going to keep developing. That down there in Miami town, that's going to blow up.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so.
Yeah, 128 corridor is gonna
Oh,
see
there's-
some major
You're right.
changes in the next
You're right.
5 years.
Yeah, 10, 15 down the road, it's going to look completely different. So I like the idea, Jim. I just don't know which way we go or how we go, and that's why we have an attorney to kind of help steer us. I think those are only 2 options. Either some of us go help that board out and sit on it, or that board
Which we've
comes our
already,
way.
which we've already
would be us
determined
anyway.
we can't do it.
Exactly,
So
which
that-
would be us running it anyway.
That 2 options was narrowed to 1. We don't have any options.
Exactly. There are really no other options.
Yeah.
So I
So-
guess the question is, would you like to come to the meeting tomorrow night?
What time is the meeting tomorrow night?
7.
7?
I cannot.
I will come. It could only be one of us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
Only
come in
one
now.
could go anyway. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a game.
I'll-
So I can let Don Smith, the president, know that you're going to come. We can ask for, Yeah, this would obviously be a legal matter, so we could discuss it in executive session if we need to.
Okay. I'll come to the meeting tomorrow night,
I mean, I like the idea.
if that's okay with the other two trustees.
Yeah,
I think you should. That would be wonderful.
Okay.
You
I
got-
think we'd put you in a bad spot if you had to come anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It would,
yeah.
right,
Right.
you're right.
so. Okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Moving on, economic development.
Yeah, I mean, Jim might have some to share, but I mean, everybody can see what's happening down in Miami town.
Yeah.
It's happening right before your eyes, and the sewer's not even there yet, but it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen quickly. I know Jim's gonna have more, and there's other things we need to talk about, but things are happening quickly in Miami town, and anytime you talk about that water and sewer, economic development's right behind it. I think when that takes off, the other end down at the Hooven area of 50 and 128, that's probably gonna end up taking off. That
Yeah.
may go simultaneously. You don't know
Yeah.
how, you know how these developers come in, they can probably take off at the same time.
Yeah. I-
It definitely ain't hurting.
No, it's not hurting, that's for sure.
No, and, you know, you have consideration of the new, union contract for the fire department, and, you know, as I keep saying, we gotta do something, so.
We definitely
we
need
a new
some
tax dollars.
good tax-paying businesses to
For
come
sure.
in.
To help pay for that. So,
You got anything else on?
no, nothing,
No?
nothing new to add right now.
I think they go hand in hand. however
Yeah,
you
for
look
sure.
at it.
I
They're
definitely-
tied together.
I think so too. If nobody's got anything else on that, move on to We Thrive.
For We Thrive, Sharon and Mindy spearheaded the litter getter group the week before our township cleanup, and I believe that was very successful. They got how many bags or dumpsters full did you?
We ended up with 2.5, 3
Yeah,
Jeez, a piece.
2.5 truckloads, pickup trucks full of garbage bags. Yeah. And Sharon didn't, she may have given me the bag count, but I didn't recall. It was a good turnout. And then on our township cleanup, want to thank the Miami Town group for manning that down there, and it was a little down this year. We were here the entire time. We did not get full, but we had about 75 residents or property owners, and about 30 repeat people coming in. So I was real happy to see that. There's one guy made about 8 trips. He was cleaning up his, and it's a property that's been needing cleaned up, and he was really giving it his all. So I was real happy. That, to me, that made it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So that's what I have to report.
Okay.
Good.
We got anything else?
Oh, wait, I have one more thing to add on that. If anybody finds any used needles laying beside the road or anything, we will have the bags available. I have them. Unfortunately, I left them at home. The bags from the Board of Health to put those needles in to dispose of them properly. So we'll have them available. I'm sure we'll have them here at the community center, and probably have some back at the maintenance office, the administration office. So if anybody needs them.
The only thing I had to add to that, would made me think of it when we're talking about the trash, is I was going to tell you, Josh, they've got that chain and all that stuff beat down again, and they've been going down under the bridge again. Right there, yeah. I hate to keep harping on it, but, I mean, they put something that's more concrete. By them going down there, it just opens up for dumping or people living under the bridge or doing, I mean, it gives an area of somewhere that stuff can happen, that nothing good, right? I mean, I guess maybe there's a couple guys that might go down there and fish or something, I guess, but I don't know what. They knocked it down, and now they've got, I mean, they got it all. There was 3 cars down there tonight when I was on my way here.
That's the same problem we have here on Kilby Road at Dry Fork.
Yeah, I mean, they just gotta, if they can put something back up or something more anything you put there, they're gonna have to put something serious or they're just gonna,
They can't put anything, anything in the right of way has to be breakable.
Right.
Put like barricades or anything like that.
well, where the guardrail ends and then they've got the chain, right? They had a chain and that's knocked down, but then they were driving around the chain and driving way down through the grass. But as they come down through the grass and it goes down towards the river, it narrows down to one lane. Couldn't they put a couple of them concrete barriers where they couldn't get,
They could probably put them down there and stop them.
that's what I'm saying, so they can't get all the way down there, so then they're stuck up by the road, and then if they're parking up there, they're parked by the road, or if they're gonna try to dump, they're gonna have to dump right by the road. They can't get, I mean, it's gonna at least make them where they gotta, I just cringe when I see them down there, especially when you go by there sometimes late at night or the middle of the night, you go by there and there's cars sitting down there. I mean, I hate, my dad used to always say there's nothing good going on that late at night down there. I guarantee it. Whatever's going on, it ain't no good. If nobody else has anything else, we'll move on to solid waste. I hadn't heard anything, and everything's been kind of low. So I went ahead and called Bill and talked to Bill and had a pretty long conversation with Bill Rumpke. They're gonna, which most of it's almost done. They're gonna just finish up the entranceway down there. It's pretty much all. I haven't been by there in a little while, but he said if it's not done, it's real close to being done down there. He said he thought there was just like a couple little things. He said they're not gonna do any more down there. That's all they're gonna do. He said they don't have anything planned for this year other than that there. He said they have a little bit of maintenance that they need to do on the leachate tanks, just normal maintenance that they would do. They'll be up there doing a little bit of that. And they got some fence and stuff to fix. I guess somebody's been cutting through the fence up there and getting in. He didn't necessarily say, he goes, I'm not saying it's, he goes, usually when we have a problem at one of our properties where they're cutting the fence, it's usually kids getting in there riding dirt bikes or doing something, which he said we can't allow just for insurance reasons. So he said, I'm not saying it's anybody sneaking in trying to do whatever, and they're gonna add some cameras and stuff. But he said outside of that for this year, they've got nothing planned for this year through there. So they're not gonna be doing any more. I don't know if I guess that's good as long as nothing's moving forward at the time. Other than that, I don't have anything else on there for that. You guys got any questions on that?
I do
Do
not.
not.
I wanted to go backwards, but is there anything more about the fall cleanup?
Mindy asked if we have any more information on the fall cleanup. I don't believe we have any information on it yet.
It's like we're waiting to know the training they've been approved for it, so we're definitely going to need some of this budget. And if it will be end of September, beginning of October, for us to do it, but I'm waiting on the training and Congress to come out and visit us
Okay.
in June, because we discussed it in the fall.
Okay, what they were saying is there will be a fall cleanup end of September or into October. We're waiting for the date from the Board of Health on when they want to help us with the hazardous part of the cleanup to set a date. So that's what we have on
Yep.
that.
Okay, nothing else. We'll move on to West Chad.
West Chad, nothing to report.
All right. Moving on to old business. Old business, the limited home rule ballot initiative. We've kind of run into some stuff on that were some things we didn't realize. And do we need a motion to cancel that meeting for now?
Yeah, because we announced it as a public meeting, so if we're
Okay.
not going to have it, we do need a motion to cancel that meeting.
I'll make a motion to cancel it at the time.
I'll second that motion.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
The other thing under old business was the fire department full-time union contract, which we're going to go into executive session on that. Want me to do anything else on that right now, right? Moving on to new business. The meeting with the Port Authority of Greater Cincinnati. I want to make a motion to cancel the public meeting that we were going to have on the 25th. Do we need a new motion to cancel it?
We just did that one.
Okay. And then make a motion to set up a special meeting at the old Miamitown Elementary School on May 22nd at noon.
I will second that motion.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
We already handled the fire department radio, right? Employees' reviews and salaries, which we're going to do that in special session or executive session. And approval of the advertisement of the bid for the community center parking lot.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, let's advertise it.
I'll second that motion.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Shively,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
Any public comments? Come on, Diane.
I just have a quick question about the sewer district board. So if you guys decide that you want to take, that you have to take it over, and down the road, people get interested in it and maybe want to be on that board, because you're going to keep the people that are already on it as like a sub-board. Do I understand that correctly? So once you have made that motion and moved that you took it over as trustees, if the point in time comes where there is enough interest with residents that they wanted to be on that board, could you take it back to that and give it up? Or once you've done it, is that it?
Well, we can ask that question.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure you could.
Okay. Because you never know in the future.
no,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm
you
saying.
know.
In the future, that
Yeah.
could. I'm sure the trustees could say, hey, I know 15 years ago they did this, but we have an interest and it's growing so much,
Yeah.
you might need your
Yeah.
whole,
Because once
Another-
everything gets
you
going,
could.
maybe it'll reach people that are interested in it.
We
Because I
could
know
a-
how
we
hard
could
it is
ask
to
that.
fill positions and.
yeah. Because, when we ask, I think we just make sure we're doing this for the best interest of Whitewater
Right.
Township.
Absolutely,
In
yeah.
the future, it might be best for it goes
Go the
back
other way.
over.
Okay, all righty.
I think you can move anything if you get the attorney. If you can move it one direction, I'm
You
sure
can
you can
move
move it
it
out the other.
Okay.
List of law changes.
And I
No,
would-
I think that's a good idea.
I would feel confident this board, at least, would, right now you have 3 people on that board. So if you had an advisory council of 2 of the 3, it'd be probably not right for me to be on that.
Right.
But if someone wanted to get involved and wanted to be on that advisory board, you could have as many people on that committee as you could attract. If you had, wouldn't it be nice if you had 10 people who wanted to
Yeah.
come Yeah.
Because,
give you input on that?
Diane's right. Eventually Whitewater Township, I think it's going to grow so much, you're going to have more and more people interested in doing something, and if you can keep those boards open. Because we have people interested in We Thrive. People do a lot, and hopefully in the future that does grow, and you have somewhere for people to come in and start getting some experience of, doing some public service work.
I think the one person that kind of sticks out in my mind who has offered to be on the board but doesn't live here is David Selhorst, who's doing the development down at the old Miami Lakes.
And he could be on the
He could be on an
advisory board
advisory
He could be
committee.
on the advisory
as a
board.
property owner. If
Right.
if the township board takes it over, he would then be able to be on
And that's
on
some
the
good
board.
ideas, so, yeah.
Yeah, and he's in that type business. He does
Mhm.
water and sewer work,
Right.
as well as general development. So, he has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
there's
Right.
yeah we
Yeah.
right
I'm just afraid we're gonna get boxed into a corner is my fear, and, you know, I'd rather not have it that way, but that's what it's looking like, and it's just not fair to the township, and,
This year, we've moved 2 meetings and didn't have a quorum for one.
yeah,
I mean,
that's tough.
um,
See, we never used to have that, did we?
Yeah.
We never had that,
yeah, most of the time, we had 5 people there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was unusual.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
the committee could meet anytime, like
committee
the We
could meet,
Drive
yeah.
committee meets separately.
yep.
Yeah.
Just- Yep, the engineer would be here, so it would all come out, and they would present it just like Chief does with the, fire department. Yep.
Okay.
All right, if we don't have anybody else on that, I guess we'll move to go into executive session for session 1 to consider the compensation of public employees in the fire department.
Is that a motion?
This motion, yes, please, I'm sorry.
7:46, and I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope? Yay. Mr. Scheibling?
Yay.
Mr. King?
Yay.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to go back to regular session at
8:10,
8:10.
and I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
So after talking back there, and we talked to the administrator and the chief, I feel like this contract to me is in line, and I'm good with it. I'd like to make a motion to accept it.
I agree. I would like to second that motion.
Voice vote,
So,
please.
Technically, sorry, I hate to
Yeah,
to
that's
be
good.
a stickler, but you need to authorize the administrator, chief, and legal counsel to execute the agreement.
Okay.
So that's what the, if that's.
So
what
that's
your
how the
motion-
motion needs to be worded.
Yeah, so if you're okay, I can word it that way.
Yep.
All right.
Good with that.
Then I will second that wording.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
All right. If we don't have anything with that, I'll make a motion to go back into executive session to consider the compensation of the public employees in the fire department, non-union employees, public works department, and community center and administration at 8:11.
I'll second that.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
See, I got the time that time. See? You're always having to do that. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing that I'm not able to do too many executive sessions.
It's a good thing.
I'd like to make a motion to come out of executive session back to normal meeting at 9:05.
I'll second.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
and Mr. King.
Yay.
So after a long conversation, I don't know how you guys feel, but this is kind of what I jotted down. I propose, first, we adjust the vacation earned schedule to what we just approved for the fire, prorated for the year for the 6 months on non-union full-time employees. The second thing I propose is the township to match the HSA that has went up to a maximum of $1,500 for a single and $3,000 for a family. I propose on Carolyn a 50-cent hour raise on normal weekly hourly rate, not on shelter rentals or regular rentals. That should stay the same. I propose that we give Josh a $1.50 an hour raise. I propose we give Peggy a $2 an hour raise, and I propose the chief a $2 an hour raise.
Can, just to be sure,
No, I went too
Carol,
fast.
yeah, well, I'm trying to write it down, but I'm
Sorry.
not that good. So Carolyn, it's 50 cents an hour on her normal rate, not shelter rentals or center rentals.
Yes, just the normal hourly rate,
Weekly rate.
the
yes.
weekly rate, yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I've got that now. So the HSA match was 15 and 3,000.
1,500 for the single and 3,000 for the
Okay.
family.
All right.
Did you get the rest of them?
Yeah, I got
Did you get the vacation schedule?
Yeah, I got the vacation schedule. That was the first one. That's where I got behind. Sorry.
I guess I'll make a motion if somebody wants to approve that.
I'll second that.
Voice vote?
All of them is together.
Yeah, all of them together. I don't see a
As
need to
proposed.
separate them all out
Okay.
as proposed. Yes.
Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.
That is it.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Everybody stay safe for Memorial's Day. It's coming up.
I'll second that motion to adjourn. Voice vote, please.
Mr. Pope,
Yay.
Mr. Scheibling,
Yay.
Mr. King.
Yay.